It's Paul and Stephen. We're back again. So I thought it would be best for us to introduce ourselves in case there is more than 5 people listening this week. So if there's 10, that's an extra 5 people who can know who we are. My name's Paul Charland. I came to Dubai in 2005. I've been doing real estate in Dubai ever since, with a couple of short breaks. Over to you, Stephen.
Stephen Leckie. Been in Dubai since 2003, working in real estate since 2005, and have known Paul ever since then, really. Yes.
How was it?
What, knowing you?
Yes. Has anything changed?
So much.
Has there, really?
What, with you?
Well, not looks-wise.
No.
Well, maturity.
No. Well, doctors have sorted things out, haven't they?
Doctors have done quite a lot, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
They're not cheap here.
No, not for you.
Well, no. Well, saying that, they do they do offers. If you get 5 things done, they only charge you for 4. Yeah, I'll see if they can do a bigger one for you, Stephen. Yeah.
Thank you. What was I saying?
So we're going to talk about. Well, this is our second one. So I think we're going to focus a bit more on property and one of the big, or a couple of the big questions that are being asked at the moment.
I'll tell you one of the questions
Okay.
I'm being asked at the moment, and I'll be interested to hear your version of the answer, because I'm always learning. And
You are.
Yeah, always learning from you as well, Paul.
Well, and that, yeah.
The pros and the cons.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are asking me or they're suggesting as well, that prices are too high. And that we are potentially in a bubble.
Okay.
What do you think about that? What do you say to that?
I understand why people are asking that, but what I will say very quickly is that I disagree. The reason I disagree is because, luckily for us, we've just got, we have got some previous experience of the Dubai market, particularly from, up until 2008. So let's look at prices today. So
You mean there was a bubble in 2008?
2008, there was an incredible bubble, which we were both involved with. Prices, it seemed at the time, were going up monthly. It was 70% a speculator's market, with some end users, maybe with some long-term investors, but generally it was people buying to flip. I mean, that
And a lot of borrowing as well.
A lot of borrowing. Now, when you switch to the market today, so apart from the Palm and apart from Dubai Hills, prices today, price per square foot in Dubai, are still cheaper than 2014 and 2008. So theoretically, that actually makes it's actually impossible that we're in a bubble, because we've been here twice before. Now, let's look at the market now.
Can you put a number on that, on those two figures?
In what respect?
So you say the prices per square foot is in 2008 and 2014. We're still not there. What is that?
Well, I mean, look. I'm not one who particularly believes in that you should generalise about one big place. Now, let's use the UK as an example. So when they say, when you see a press report, the prices have gone up by 2% or they've dropped by 2%. When people are talking about the UK as a whole, how can you compare London to any other part of the UK? You can't compare it to Grimsby or to Coventry or to Gloucester, and I wouldn't like to either. So to generalise about Dubai is, you've got these outliers. Now, obviously, the Palm is the big outlier. It's an address which is an iconic address. It's known the world over, and there's only one Palm, soon to be 2. But that's a little bit down the road with the Palm Jebel Ali again. So with the amount of people moving to Dubai, the amount of people with money, if they want to buy in Dubai one of the best addresses in the world, then their only choice is the Palm. So because of that, prices are at all-time highs, but we expect them to continue to go up in price.
And Blue Water Island, of course.
And Blue Water Island. Dubai Hills, arguably, or you could safely say that it's the number 1 master community in Dubai. It's Emaar. It's been done very, very well with a golf course, perfect location, great infrastructure. So, as a community which is still regarded as new, there's been the most amount of interest there for families or people wanting to move to Dubai to, buy a family home, a villa or a townhouse in particularly. The number one choice was Dubai Hills. And so those two places, the Palm and Dubai Hills, have seen the biggest price increases. But for everywhere else, prices are significantly cheaper than 2008 in certain places. I'll give you an idea. We got involved. We were heavily involved in flipping back then, which was splendid. It was very, very good until it suddenly stopped, which was September the 15th, 2008, when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. And I remember there was a group of us, like a little sort of investment fund we had. We had a couple, and we bought an Olive Point villa in Jumeirah Golf Estates, and off plan, and we paid 17.4 million dirhams for it. Now, obviously, we didn't pay 17.4. We was paying the first 10%, hopefully maximum the next 10%, and then we were looking to flip. So, if we paid 20%, it went up in price by 10%, then we've made 50% ROI within a few months.
And people were doing that at the time.
And people were doing it, yeah. Now, Jumeirah Golf Estates over the last 2 years has gone up massively in price, but prices are still cheaper than in 2008. That's to give you an idea of when people say our price is too expensive. The other thing to bear in mind is, first of all, as I said, we've been here twice before, and further to that is that when you look at the market now, and this is what people have to realise, and what people, maybe it does occur to people, but there is certainly some people it doesn't, is that going back to 2008, in particular, 2007, 2008, speculator driven, about 70%, loads of cash coming in, people looking to flip. It wasn't long-term investors. It wasn't particularly end users. Now, you look at the market now, it's at least 60% end users, which is families, couples, business people, finance people, IT people moving to Dubai because they want to make Dubai their home. So when they buy a property, whether it be an apartment or a villa, what they're looking to do is, they just want a lovely home which they're going to live in for the next 5, 10, 15 years, however long they're in Dubai. So first and foremost, it's not about how much money can they make. It's about buying the nicest home possible. Now, when the market is underpinned by end users, that makes it a strong, resilient market. There's no question about that. So to me, no, we are not in a bubble, and no, prices aren't too expensive, because if you want to look back just a couple of years ago during COVID, prices before COVID were actually what we believe to be undervalued by around 10% then. And then during COVID, they went to 20 to 30% undervalued, where there's that bit of the panic selling. So they've corrected themselves to what we believe to be is the correct price at this time of business.
You're listening to Dubai Real Estate Unplugged by House, award-winning property agency in Dubai.
Yeah, I think also what's also happening is that the quality of property is probably a lot better. The efficiency of property. Do you know what I mean? In 2005, 6 and 7, you can build anything and you could sell it, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it would sell and flip, etc. And then came...
Well, you didn't actually... No, you didn't actually even have to build it. You could just produce a nice brochure and tell everyone it was going to be amazing, and then they'd still buy it.
And a good launch party.
Good launch party, yeah.
And yes. But so I think what happened is, I think the entire world after 2008, not just in the property business, but in all businesses, everybody's looked at efficiency. Sort of so much conspicuous consumption was going on before that. And I think people, architects, developers started looking at how can we best use this space? What's the best way of designing an apartment or a house or this land, getting best use out of the land, etc. And I think you're seeing a lot better quality and a lot more thought has gone into to property in itself since then. So you're getting better value for money now, probably.
Yeah.
No? Would you agree?
I would agree. And if you want to take it down to basics, even say, for instance, even on the Palm, where you'd say now for the high end developments, you're looking at between 5,000 to 10,000 dirhams a square foot, which sounds a lot, but when you think about it, 5,000 dirhams a square foot is around £1,100, and obviously £2,200 for 10,000 dirhams a square foot. So £1,100 per square foot is still a third of the price of central London. Even at 10,000 dirhams a square foot, which is seen as, the top price now, it's still significantly cheaper than central London and most other major cities. So when you make that comparison, yes, prices have gone up in Dubai, but look around the world, all these other major cities, they're significantly more expensive. So,
which is why so many high net worth individuals are buying into the Palm and these other places in Dubai because they see great value.
Yeah.
And why would they want to leave their money in a bank in Europe at the moment or in the West where they're going to get heavily taxed? So many reasons not to leave it in the bank at the moment with inflation, etc. Let's go and buy some property, and we're better than Dubai.
Yes, and where is better than Dubai at the moment?
Well, I don't know of anywhere. Do you? There's a couple of places that people talk about, like Singapore, and I've even heard Miami on that list.
Yeah, I think I saw that when that report came out. I get Singapore. That's an Asian safe haven. Not so sure it'd be so safe or potentially China has a bigger problem with Taiwan and Hong Kong. Miami, apparently, because I was surprised Miami was on there, but effectively I think they chose Miami because they needed to choose somewhere in the US, and Miami is just performing better than all the other states because they've got lower tax rate and a lot of people have moved there post-COVID. They've got more land and it's better weather but yeah,
they want to live next to the president as well, of course.
Yeah, there could be some people who want to do that. Okay, well, I've got a question for you, Stephen, which hopefully will be interesting to the 10 or 11 people who are listening this week.
Do you think we got that many?
Well, I was going to hedge my bets at 9.
How many of your family are listening?
12. 3 of my cousins are pregnant.
They got nothing to do.
Well, they didn't have.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
I haven't told any of my family that I'm making these podcasts. So, yeah. But I don't think they've got much interest in what I'm doing anyway.
They might have.
I don't know.
No. But surely there must be someone who has got an interest in what you're doing.
No, probably not.
No.
I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that.
No. I am surprised. I mean, give me 15 minutes. I'm going to really try to think of someone.
Thank you.
But I've got a question for you, Stephen, please.
Go on, tell me.
What are the main differences in the Dubai property market now compared to 15-ish years ago? So we're going back to sort of 06, 08, that sort of time. What are the main differences?
So many differences, Paul. I think certainly experience. We are far more experienced now than we were then. And there are still some people in the market who do lack experience like we probably did right at the beginning, 2005, although you had experience of real estate in Spain before that. But I think that's one big thing is that we've got a history. We've got a lot of experience to talk about with clients. I think the thickness of the Gulf News, if that means anything to you. So if anybody's out there and doesn't know what the Gulf News is, it's the newspaper for Dubai and the UAE. I think it's probably the most popular English newspaper, and all advertising for property at that point had to be published or advertised in the Gulf News, and their property section, I think, was there 4 or 5 different properties sections or something? It might have been that. There were like pull-out sections, weren't there? Property. Do you remember?
It was massive, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was massive. Yeah, very large.
And that's what you did when you got into work every morning. But you did.
Yeah,
you went through the property pages of the Gulf News.
Yes. Now we've got something called the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's another podcast, Paul. But that's one of the things. I think certainly from a sort of regulations, that's definitely something that's changed for the better. There were no regulations back in 2005, 6 and 7. I think RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Agency, as it's known, they came into being around that time, 2007, I think 2008. It's when we had to start actually going into a classroom and learning about real estate, wasn't it? We had to pass tests.
Yeah.
And that was but then the crash happened, and then immediately after that, in 2010, 2011, the government really stepped up and started introducing some fairly strict guidelines for real estate, and RERA had a lot more power with regards to real estate agencies, etc., and real estate agents in Dubai. So I think that was one. That's a major difference. There's still a lot of agents out there who haven't been involved with RERA, of course, but freelancers, etc., and new joiners. But I think that's one of the things. And obviously, there was transfers used to happen at the developers' offices. Do you remember that? We used to do transfers of property at the developers' offices. Where did we have to pay them 2% or something? Or was there?
No, that was all different. Some was just, well, there was no DLD fees.
No.
There was whatever the developer wanted to charge, which wasn't a lot. They might have charged 1% or a fixed admin fee, but there was no DLD.
Yeah. And then obviously we now do everything through the Dubai Land Department or their trustees' offices, the exchange of properties.
Which is improving all the time.
It is. It's all online as well.
Yeah, huge
Lots of it's online anyway.
Yeah.
You still have to go there for certain things, so that's good. And I think one of the main differences for me has been the kind of clients you talk to. Back in that time, everybody you spoke to was talking about buying and then selling. What would this be worth in 3 months? What's it going to be worth in 6 months? What's it going to be worth next year?
Yeah.
That was what everybody was asking. And then you went through this whole period, sort of after the crash, where it was people were buying to let. So they were asking about yields and what would I make out of this property and rent? That was the big question for a lot of people. I'm not saying that still isn't the question. It still is, but it certainly was much more prevalent than flipping. Well, flipping just wasn't really possible at that time. And then I think more recently, certainly for me, the last 3 to 4 years, people have been talking to me about buying to live. So you actually come here and live in, retire, move their entire family, move their businesses over here, especially since COVID around the world. And people have seen how they've dealt with it here in Dubai.
Follow House and House on social media and don't miss a beat of Dubai's vibrant property market.
Yeah, so I think that's been some of the... What other differences can you think of?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to you.
On what?
Well, because I didn't think you were going to remember that far back.
Yeah, well,
I thought I was going to have to ask you a question from like last week.
No, I had actually been practicing this for the last couple of days in my mind while I was coming to work.
Okay.
Thinking, I'm going to do a podcast with Paul, so I better try and think of something to say.
Yeah. No, which is good. I mean, it was okay, what you said.
Yeah.
What I will say is, these are the biggest changes for me, so you've gone back to like 15 years-ish. These are the biggest changes I've seen over the last, I think it's 5 years, correct me if I'm wrong.
Cool.
Now,
2018.
Maybe
pre-COVID.
Yeah, maybe it was between 2015 and 2018.
Okay.
So there, Google Maps or right. Honestly, though, it's quite incredible because
You've learned how to use your phone.
Well, I've learned how to use it first of all, or I know some people use Waze, which they say is better. But years ago, there never used to be any Google Maps or Waze or whatever else, right? So
How did we get around?
Well, I really, really don't know because I mean, there's a lot less roads. But I remember, for instance, if I had to go to Jumeirah Lake Towers, I used to really, really not look forward to it because I had a meeting. Now, the master developer was Nikhil, and they just weren't very good back in the day putting up road signs or directions. Right. So effectively, if you went to JLT with their one-way system, if you missed your cluster, right, which was quite easy to do, you had to go all the way around the one-way system to then look for that cluster again, to hopefully find it the second time. Then if you did find it, you had to park. So if you had an important meeting, I mean, obviously you could either be late for your meeting or you have to leave really early to get there for that meeting. You have to really plan ahead. The same actually with JVC. I used to hate having to go to JVC because there was no road signs or any directions at all. And you just didn't know where you were going. So to me, to have the GPS and literally to go anywhere in Dubai, you could go into the deepest, darkest depths of Dira or really old Dubai and literally you can go straight there, it goes straight in. I mean, that is we're so used to it now, we forget what it was like before. But it was really, really difficult.
No, there were no maps, were there? We didn't use maps.
No, there wasn't. No.
Did we use maps? I don't think there were. Well, there were some maps, yeah. There was a company called Explorer who used to produce these maps. I probably still got a few at home. Yeah, but pulling to the side of the road at Shakeside Road and looking at the map, probably not a good idea. Not a good idea at all.
And the other thing is, once again, people just won't realise this because they just wouldn't know any different. But WhatsApp. I've lived a few different places.
You've learned to say it now.
I know WhatsApp. Yeah, I know. I always used to say "What's up," and everyone used to look at me and just "What's up," which I didn't like. So it's when you think about it. Before WhatsApp, the business was. I know this sounds obvious, but it was like phone and email. And an email could sort of take quite a while. Now we're so used to WhatsApp now that.
Well, you've gone back to saying...
Oh, did I say WhatsApp? Did I?
Said WhatsApp.
Oh, damn. So we're so used to WhatsApp now. Like, I remember this was quite a while ago, actually. So 18 months ago, WhatsApp went down one evening, right, for a few hours. Mm-mm. Honestly,
the whole world.
But the whole of Dubai stopped. Yeah. It was like there was panic. Mm-mm. People calling up, like, has your WhatsApp gone down? It was like people couldn't operate. Because when you think about it, something really simple, if you're speaking with a client who's just making a general inquiry, oh yeah, this looks interesting. Oh, can you send me the floor plans? Right. Now, before WhatsApp, that wasn't a straightforward thing to do. You had to find the file. If it was on your data, or if it was on your server at work or wherever else, then get it. I was obviously never the best with technology, no. but find the floor plan, send it on email. Hopefully they see it, etc. Now, literally, you could ask for more or less any detail of a property, whether it's floor plans, prices, square foot, location, you name it. That client anywhere in the world can have all of that information within 2 seconds. Mm-mm. It's incredible. And from what I'm told, there's more business conversation in Dubai, let's say the UAE, than any other part of the world. They reckon like 90% of business conversations, right? Whereas in some countries it is still email or in some other way. Here it is literally all on WhatsApp. I've done deals with people who don't speak English.
Yes.
Which is ironic. They've bought property and we've dealt nearly exclusively on WhatsApp, apart from the very first phone call where they told me they couldn't speak English and can we go to WhatsApp, please, because they can understand English when it's written. It's amazing.
Still calls it WhatsApp.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean. Okay. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you, Stephen. I'm not sure how long we've been on, but we're time out there. Hopefully this has been a little bit of interest and a bit helpful to anybody who is listening. And we will speak to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Cheers.
See you.
And
Bye.
you. Bye.
Dubai Real Estate Unplugged. Finding this information helpful? Share this episode with friends and family to help them in their property journey. To know more about us or to contact our property specialists, visit hausandhouse.com.